let's make some predictions for Backlash, but not just regular predictions. Let's do something a little bit different. I'm going to throw this immediately to you guys to work on in the comments while I kick mine off. Don't just give me a prediction. Take it up a notch. You know, take that, bring a little bit of kayfabe into your answer. Give me an over prediction. Take a match that you think you know the result of, or you think you know what's going to happen, and give me an extra layer or two of detail to that prediction. Try to call exactly what's going to happen. A little bit of like a little bit of fantasy booking here. Maybe what you would like to see, without it being too much like, oh, this guy can't lose or his title reign is worthless. No, have a little bit of fun with it. A little bit of an over prediction, and I will kick my first prediction off with what I believe my over prediction is, so you can maybe get a little bit of an idea of what I mean. Starting with the Kabuki Warriors versus Jade and Bianca. This one, I feel like everybody is so sure. I put out a poll of which title match people thought was the most likely to cause a title change, and I think this is the one where I disagree. I'm gonna take a stab here, and I'm gonna say that the Kabuki Warriors are going to win this match, and it's going to be through faction shenanigans. Hear me out. Jade and Bianca, a powerhouse, absolutely nasty, should win this in a straight up 2v2 any day of the week. But the Kabuki Warriors have a little bit of a they have a faction, right? They have a little bit of maybe some Dakota Kai outside the ring that could interfere a little bit. So my thought is it's gonna look like a Jade and Bianca win through and through. They're gonna be kicking their butt. They're gonna be looking super strong. Everybody's gonna get super excited, and maybe we get that super like zesty pin, as I've heard people call it, from Jade, and it gets interrupted by somebody on the outside, by somebody not necessarily in the match. And maybe this is while the referee is distracted or something, but I think the Kabuki Warriors are going to get Jade and Bianca to have some sort of a miscue, some sort of an internal conflict that'll make it so that the Kabuki Warriors will retain the title and spark that little bit, just that little bit needed to have maybe some ego issues between Jade and Bianca and start the Jade Bianca feud, which I would love a Jade versus Bianca feud. I feel like those two going at it at any point would be super exciting. And who knows, maybe it's something that could last for a while and build up to like a SummerSlam or something. I don't know, maybe sooner, but that's my over prediction of being a little bit too specific and not just calling, a winner or a loser. Maybe Dakota Kai gets involved to cause the Kabuki Warriors to get the upper hand and have Jade and Bianca start some sort of a feud. Next up is Kevin and Randy, or RKO, versus Tama Tonga and Solo. I am really hoping that the Bloodline ends up looking really strong here. I want to see Tama Tonga and Solo. It's going to be tough because Kevin and Randy are both two that I don't think you see them get demolished or get run over pretty much ever. And the one time it looked like Kevin was getting his butt kicked by a large margin, turns out he was hit by it was a car that actually hit him that caused all the bleeding. That was shown later in the episode. So I like to think and I like to hope that this is going to be an opportunity to have Solo look super strong, Tama Tonga look super strong. Obviously there can be some back and forth, but this is where I'm hoping. I've heard you guys have brought him up a lot in the comments. This Jacob Fatu. I looked up what he looks like. Dude looks kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. If he comes and interferes in this match, I would get very excited, because that means we might have the next big piece of this Bloodline 2.0. And then if the Bloodline 2.0 gets kicked off, they can be like the heel version, and then maybe Jay and Jimmy get back together, and then Roman comes back later, and you can get there's so much fun stuff that could happen in the long run. Just let the Bloodline 2.0 here look super strong. That's what I'm rooting for here, and I would love it if that Jacob Fatu made their appearance for the first time in this match. All right, next up, let's look at Bayley, Tiffany Stratton, and Naomi. I have made it no secret here, I am a Bayley fan. I have been for some time. I was very excited when she won at Mania. I would be devastated if she lost here. I would be very, very upset to have her run with this title be so short. But I feel like there's a solid chance that she keeps it. I think she is stronger. I think her character-wise, she is stronger than Naomi. I think she could beat Naomi. Where I'm worried is Tiffany Stratton. Because if Tiffany Stratton wins this, if it's Tiffy time, I feel like it's going to be Tiffy time for a minute. Because Tiffany Stratton has all the aura and character and confidence of a champion. And I feel like once she has a title on her, she's going to hang on to it for a minute. So Bayley needs to pull out something here. I don't know. I'm not, as much as I love Bayley, I'm not a huge fan of like the rose plant. I don't think it's that good of a looking finisher. So maybe she needs to dip a little bit deeper, dig deeper in the bag of tricks or something. But I really hope that she pulls out the win here against Tiffany and Naomi. But it's also going to be no DQ, right? So it's triple threat. Anything could happen. And I could see this being where you get a Nia Jax interference. She's newly drafted over to SmackDown. Nia Jax could come in. I don't know who she would favor, but like it feels like an opportunity in a triple threat. Maybe I'm having too much interference in all of my my predictions so far, but interference is fun to me. I kind of like it. It's I feel like it's a nice spice that's always pretty much always unexpected. It seems like whenever they kind of want to protect a champion for a little bit, they'll have someone interfere with the challenger, and then the challenger and that interferer will go off and do something to compete to see who's going to go against the champion later. So maybe Nia does something that makes it so Bayley actually retains, maybe intentionally or not. But as long as Bayley walks out the champion still, I'll feel okay. I really don't want her to just have a 1 month run as the champion. Jay versus Damian, that's one that has me, I'm concerned because I want them both to win for different reasons. Damian is someone who, I know I asked this in the last video of who's someone that you weren't really into and then you slowly bought into over time. Damian is an example for that for me. I really first started getting won over by him in his Bad Bunny match last year at Backlash. I expected that match to be, you know, nothing, but I thought it was just a celebrity versus a wrestler that I didn't really know too much about. But that one ended up being the match of the night for me, and I really enjoyed that. So over time, I have totally bought in on Damian, and I would love to see Damian have a bit longer of a run here. And I think he might win this, but the problem is I also root for Jay in his split off from the Bloodline, and it feels like him losing this would feel like kind of almost like he's completely failed with his split off from the Bloodline, because he will have gone after Roman with the tribal combat, right? Tribal combat at SummerSlam, failed there. He will have gone after Gunther and failed there for the title, and then going for Damian's title and failing there. Like that, I know he won the tag titles with Cody, and that's cool and all, but when it comes to going for these singles titles, him going 0 for 3 while on this main event Jey Uso run would really kill a lot of momentum for me. But I mean, you could make the argument that since Damian won his title with the Money in the Bank case, maybe there's, I don't know, maybe that's a little less of like a, I don't know, an honorable way to win. And maybe Damian will end up winning the title back later in a normal rematch or something like that. I don't know. But for this one, I'm straight up going to predict, I think Jay could win this one. And it's really because I think there's going to be, you know, I'll keep my kayfabe answer is I feel like failing against Roman and Gunther is going to be enough that this dude's not going to walk out of this match with a loss. And maybe Damian's going to be a little too chill. Maybe Damian's going to be a little too relaxed. He won it with the Money in the Bank. He didn't really have to win it a full match. Who knows if he's capable of winning this title in a full-on match, because he hasn't yet. So I'm going to take Jay in this one. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. If Cody Rhodes loses this one, I want to stay off the internet for a few days. There's been so many comments, not on my videos, thankfully. You guys have been super chill, and it's just been awesome to read your comments and have discussions with you guys. But I've seen so many places where everybody is like, well, see, Cody's a boring champion, and if Roman were here, it'd be so much better. I can't listen to any of that. It's just too negative for me. but him losing this quick would hurt. And I've seen some people say that it could be, you know, maybe he did actually injure his shoulder in the match versus Carmelo Hayes, and they could have him lose to not have the title have to be relinquished, but actually lost, and then he could take care of that injury. But him losing at all would just, that would take out so much of the win for my sales of being a Cody fan. I mean, I've been rooting for this guy so hard all last year, because early in last year, I watched the Cody documentary on Peacock, and I got to know his history and his story, and I bought in so much on wanting to see him succeed. So see him finally like finish his story and then immediately lose it at Backlash, oh, that would hurt. And this is coming from someone who is not a huge AJ Styles fan. And that could be, you know, I'm not against him. I don't think he's bad. I don't hate him or anything. But I mean, if you think about knowing that I've only watched in the last year, there hasn't been a ton to get excited about with AJ Styles in the last year. So I'm going to pick Cody to win. I really hope he wins. If he's hurt, that would suck, but I guess that would be an understandable reason to end up losing this. And maybe the injury isn't, you know, if it's a story injury and it ends up being something that they use to make it so AJ looks like he has more of a chance to win, because a lot of people have this written off as no chance AJ wins, which I'm kind of in that boat. But maybe the injury with against Carmelo Hayes was a written injury to kind of look like he's got a weak spot that AJ could try to capitalize on. Who knows? Maybe something like that. But no matter what, Cody's got to walk out of this with the title, or I'm not going to know how to feel. I'm open for discussion. I like answering your comments. I like reading your comments. Shout out to my patrons, which, wow, it's insane that I could already say that. You guys have been super supportive already. If you want to check out the Patreon, there is a free to watch along that is pinned to the top of the Patreon. It's free to join, and you can watch me watch Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 25 for the first time. If that is enough that you end up wanting to see more, you're welcome to subscribe to the Patreon. We are already currently voting on the next match that we're going to be doing, so feel free to check that out. Make sure you guys subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. It's been a pleasure. See you guys.